What's up, guys? We're at the Expo here. GAF 2020, HDZ, when proven. G&D construction is going crazy this year. What you think? What you think, Johnny?
Awesome.
You going crazy this year?
Oh yeah.
Gonna make some more money? Boom,
Yes,
boom.
sir.
Let's go. Let's go.
So today, I'm going to teach that. Are we all excited to learn that?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Class starts now. Give yourself a round of applause for being here. Okay. I'm going to teach what we call the door-to-door formula. So, this is a very simple formula I'm going to teach you so that you guys can make a heck of a lot more money. It's simple, but it doesn't mean it's easy. What I teach is the systems behind the formula that are going to make you the money. So the first part of the formula is reps. That's why I asked who in here has a little bit more than 10 reps. Do you guys realize I wouldn't have been a full roster had I not had 20 sales reps as a manager where I come from? I wouldn't have even been qualified to be a manager had I not had 20 sales reps. I come from Utah, so my background from Utah. I've knocked doors since I was 11. I was part of a Vivint. Has anybody heard of Vivint? I started in alarms when I was 18. A different company, I went to Vivint. They have 3,500 sales reps. They just went public for $4.2 billion, and they're built on the streets, door to door. So I was there for quite a few years. I was like their #1 sales rep and had a big region there. And then I left and I got into solar. Solar's pretty hot in Chicago. It's a great little market for it. If you're not adding that to your product line, you might want to look into that. So got into solar, was VP of sales in a solar company for a couple of years. Built them from 0 to about 100 sales guys in multiple markets. Chicago wasn't really a hot market back when I did it. But now in 2018, January 2018, launched this. So my background was I learned this formula really young. You guys are probably still thinking like, man, you must be 12. No, I'm 13, so that all happened by the age of 12. No, I've done this for 17 years now, guys. This has been my bread and butter. This is like all I've done. I've never worked W2 and made a lot of money through the doors because I mastered leverage in this formula. I said, you just put gas on the formula, you make more money. Some of you guys just are scared to put gas because you think it's going to break or it's not going to work, or you tried it and it didn't go how you wanted it to. But the problem is nobody really taught you what to do. You just don't know what you don't know. I come from a world where I just copy-pasted what the billion-dollar company did and said, what if we implement it into this? And we do it again and again and again. And now we've done it. I've consulted over 83 companies in 23 different states in 15 different industries and helped a lot of people double, triple, quadruple their businesses. And I did it through just implementing the formula. And the first part of the formula is reps. So let me pick on somebody. Let's go to Blue Shirts. What's your company name? You're what?
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom. I love it. And are you the owners, reps? You're one of the owners.
You talked to Monica last week.
Huh?
You talked to Monica last week.
Did we? Or one of my sales guys? Or it was me? It was me? Cool. So how many reps do you guys have?
There's 12.
12 of you guys. And you said the next one. What's the next one?
Activity.
Which we call opportunities. Some of you guys don't knock doors. I just think it's the most effective because I'm belly to belly and I can close you right then and there. I don't need to sit there and like talk to you 22 times trying to catch you. So opportunities. So could you tell me right now, because I have yet to have anybody whip this out, how many people do they talk to on a daily basis on average? Yes! Yes! I'm asking this to everyone in this room.
The average guy out there, I would say maybe.
Not an I would say. I said, who can tell me?
I mean,
Not an I would say. Whip it out. See how it's going.
50 people a day.
Yeah, but that's you whipping it out of your butt. That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah.
Because the last guy, in the last class, said, I knock 700 doors a week. And I go, bullshit. Show me that you knock 700 doors a week.
Yeah.
I know guys that knock 1,200 doors a week. I'm not saying you can't. But what I'm getting at is I said, you're whipping numbers out of your butt. What is he pulling up?
Well, we actually do track our guys.
Then pull it up.
Have them drop pins, but it's something that they haven't been doing for a while.
That's the problem. See what I'm getting at? I want to know. And how important is that number to me? If I know exactly the number, let's say it's 20 a day. Were you able to find it?
No, I just pulled it up. I would say it's probably right around the 25 a day, and actually getting in the door on maybe 3.
Okay, a day. And the next part of the formula is probably what? closing percentage equals my money. Does that make sense? So I simply look at this and I go, this is a simple formula, people. If you had 12 people talking to 25, where's my calculator? Somebody be my math guy. So if I had 12 people talking to 25 a day, what?
300.
I'm passing you. You were in my workshop. I'm giving you the shovel. You dug that hole so far. I'm picking on it.
You got 300 people.
You got 300 people a day. Closing it. What's your closing percentage? He's like, uh-oh. He's like, I'm too dark. It's too dark. Only if you're in our workshop you understand the suction shovel. We'll get there later. Or we'll get there one day. Who knows? Okay. So you got 25 times 300. 300 doors times let's call it a 10% closing ratio. That means you're doing 30 jobs a day. Does that sound about right?
No, let's go with that.
We'll go 230 days working.
I'm not going to do an handstill on you.
That's 6,900 jobs. Your average job rate is what?
Our average job is about 22,000.
22,000, okay. And now you are a $151 million company.
Yes!
Yeah! Okay, I just taught him how to be a $151 million company. So here's the problem.
Labor.
No, not the problem. So you have 100. No. The problem is, guys. The problem is he's already there. He's already there. But you just have a $144 million problem. I consult $150 million companies.
That's a good problem.
You have a $144 million problem. Everybody needs to be doing the math in their head right now. Does that make sense? You said they should be 30 to 40 people a day. The problem is they're not. Because if they were, you'd be a $150 million company. Unless one of my numbers is wrong. Either you have not 12 people, which was, I said it was 9 really, because I'm going to cut out 4 of his people because
It's actually
3 or whatever. And then it's not really 25 because that's what I want them to be doing. What are they actually doing? And then the closing percentage I did at 10%, and that's pretty low. I'm not trying to get aggressive here. Let's even say it was 5, guys. Let's do this math. Let's say it was 9, and let's say it's 5, and let's say it's 10%. Let's do it. 9 times 5 is 45. And then I get a 10%. That's 4.5 jobs a day. And I do that times 250 days a year, which is I'm taking 100 days off. I mean, that's pretty fair. I'm still doing 1,125 jobs times 22,000. Now you got a $24 million company. Now how big's your problem? I'm picking on you because you're in my class.
I knock a lot of doors, and I'd be lucky to average 1 job a day.
So what
I
if
do
I...
$1.5 million myself.
But why do you only do $1.5 million?
That's all I can get.
What if you had a
I
different
knock a
plan?
lot of doors, and I talk to a lot of people, but they're not always home.
But what if... Okay, so here's the thing. This is where I want to change the belief. 2 of my guys I send to a company in Dallas that come from my background.
Mm-hmm.
And that company was a $30 million company, and they thought they were the shit. Their best guy, their best day was ever 12 or 15 or something like that. Between my 2 guys, they did 64 contingencies in 2 days. He said they did more jobs than most people do in a year.
Mm-hmm.
I changed the perspective of that whole company, and what did we see in their company? A big uptick. Most people think that when they do $1 million, and I'm not calling you out because that's the industry in and of itself. Why do people call it, I'm a $1 million producer, and then what happens? I'm the shit. I made my money. Great, you're a 6-figure earner. I'm not teaching you guys how to make 6 figures, people. The biggest expense is the $900,000 you should be making more buying the same vehicle, because there's people out there that do 8, 9 million in residential knocking doors.
That's why I'm here.
That's what I want to teach you. The goal and the biggest expense in this room right now is you guys are making 6 figures. That's it. You're a business owner doing 7 million with 12 guys, yet if you could just teach them and get them to knock more than, we're obviously not even at 5. See what I mean? Or we're not at a 10% close. Like, we can't even talk to 5 people in a day is my problem. And we think that this job has to be super hard. I didn't mean to piss you off, sorry. I'm speaking from, I'm trying not to please you. I'm trying to serve you because I care about results. And your bank account is not reflecting the 24 million or the 150 million we think it is. It's just not reflecting. And so if I taught you and gave you the fairy dust fluff stuff, like, hey, there's a magic funnel that you're going to get. No, that's shit. I'm going to teach you how to create your people to knock 5 or more doors a day, or talk to 5 or more people every day. And if it's you as a sales rep, it's getting yourself to do that. Because if I broke it down as I'm just the sales rep, and I talk to 5 people a day, it's just me, I'm a rep. 1 times this times this. 5 people a day. Let's just do the math. 5 times 250 times, what is that? 5. I don't know. 5 times 250 times 0.1. That's 125 roofs. Times 22,000. That's 2.75 million. I'm not even closing one a day. Did you just? And I'm taking 100 days off. Did you see what I just did there? So people say, "Oh, I can't do more
There's
than."
a lot of lazy people. That's what you said.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. No, 5 doors. That's not that much. 5 people. That's like, how long does it take me to talk to 5 people? What I get broken with and what I get mad at, and I'm not trying to say this to anybody, I'm just trying to say this because I've been there, people. I've been sitting in my car, ready to throw up out of anxiety, trying to get myself to get out. I've had those days. I've had the days where people have pulled guns on me. I've had the days where it's 110 degrees. I'm knocking.
Did you ask what kind of gun it was?
No, it's a
You got some shovel?
Yeah. And I go out, and you walk up to the dude, get out of here. He's watering his plants or whatever. He's like, get out of here. I'm like, sir, sorry if I get you. He sprays you with the hose. And you're like, thank you. Those are some of the best days, you know what I mean? If it wouldn't be too much, one more time. I've had those days. It's what I do about it the next door. I could have said, shoot, he's on his way inside to go call the cops, because this is a true story. Sprays me 3 times with the hose. Realizes that just made him more mad and me more happy because it's 110 degrees. And calls the cops. So now what do most people do in this situation? What?
Drive away as fast as you can.
Drive away as fast as you can, am I right? The entire neighborhood is done. We cannot go back. Put an X on the maps. We F'd that one up. Right? What does Sam do?
Go to Village Hall and get a soliciting permit.
I have my permit. I went to the next door.
Yeah. Keep along, you got your permit.
I made it my mission to sell the neighbor so they got a sign out in front and angled a little bit. What happens to your neighborhood in that situation? Where you're sitting there waiting for your phone to ring, how many signs of mine do you see out there? Does that make sense? That's what I want to do. So I'm going to teach you the hacks. Ready? What time do I got till? Okay. So the hacks. First hack is we're going to call it an implementation intention. This comes from a book called Atomic Habits. And it really is kind of, it just puts the consciously competent, it puts the consciousness to like what we've been teaching our people, and it's an easy way to understand it. If it's myself, and I answer the question, when and where, I have to do it. If it's for my people, if I'm running a team or a company, if I can answer for the reps, when and where, they will be more inclined to do it. Most of the owners in this list, most of the reps are, I got to knock tomorrow. Hey, I want you to go out and knock tomorrow. Does that happen if I just say that? The what is what? What do I want you to do? What do I want you to do?
Knock.
Knock tomorrow. What do I want you to do? Come on, guys. Are we awake? Everyone in unison, knock tomorrow. What do I want you to do? Knock. There you go. Do you do it? Maybe.
It's cold.
If you feel like it. If I say, you start at 2 p.m. on 133 Castle Street, you have an appointment with that door? Does that make sense? A cold appointment? They're waiting for you? What is the chances of that happening more so than go out and knock tomorrow? Much greater, right? I'm answering a question, taking away the decision fatigue, because if it's up to me, if I have to decide when and where I was going to go knock on my own without putting some thought before my emotions got the best of me, I'll be more inclined just to show up. Does that make sense? So if I answer when and where for my people and for myself, and I don't have to guess, because here's the thing. Who knocks in here? Who's like a salesperson? Okay, so when do you start? That's the problem. About 9 o'clock in the morning. Is it 9 or is it 9:20? Is it on the doors or is it in the office? Okay. And when do you end? Is it 4 or is it 5?
It changes.
Why does it change?
The weather sometimes stays wrong. I think it's going to be raining or it's...
So if it's not weather related, is it 4 or 5?
in between. Well, I don't have a structure in place. That's
You see what I'm saying? Why am I challenging him? I'm challenging everybody, but why am I challenging him? What? Because guys, hopefully this isn't going over your head.
Because if you don't hold yourself accountable to working those doors, knocking those doors, no one's going to do it.
If I say 4 or 5, what does that happen in a
Discipline.
hard situation? What?
Discipline.
4 turns into 3, that turns into 2, that turns into 1 today. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Because if you were disciplined and stayed to that schedule, you would be doing 2.7 mil. Because can you talk to 5 people between 9 and 4? Can you close at 10%? See what I'm getting at? The problem is comes 2 o'clock, you've had your face kicked in all day, what happens? And you go where? Long. Because there's not a win at the end, right? I knock till this no matter how I'm feeling, what my thoughts are, what my attitude is, I knock till 5. Does that make sense? It's not negotiable. I always said they'll come after you. And my office would always be like, who's they? I'm like, you don't even want to know. They will get you. They're watching. Because what was I watching on? I was watching on an app. I knew exactly when and where they were at all times because I had it tracked. And I said, why'd you sit at a McDonald's for 3 hours today, sir? Well, how are you going to get paid sitting at McDonald's, dude? We don't get paid to chill. Okay, so if I say when and where, number 2, what else can I do? What did I just do with him? I created a schedule. So, my schedule makes me violent. I always say this. If you guys want to be good at door-to-door, your emotions can't dictate the schedule. You have to say the schedule's the boss. Create a schedule that's consistent. Where roofing, the problem is they're like, well, one day I'm meeting with the adjuster, and one day I'm meeting with this, and one day I'm meeting, right? It's kind of all over the place. So guess what the third technique is? It's called the mini habit of getting a no. Go for the no. And let me explain. There's 2 ways that you can implement this technique right now. And you can teach your people. Yeah! He just got it. Yeah. Man, the finger does not look fun. Sorry. Darn. Yeah. So check this. He said what? What did he say? Somebody help me out. What did he say? It got me out of where? Bed, the truck, and it put me in what? Motion, right? What's in motion stays in motion. What's in motion stays in motion. So if my goal isn't to go get a deal or talk to 70 people every day, and my goal was just to get 1 no, I will help you guys make a hell of a lot of money. Because after that 1 no, the competitive you will say what? dang it, I might as well go try to get a yes. You know what I mean? It's like, okay. Oh, shoot. So the no, okay? Next. Questions here. So I'm going to teach you how to get yeses now. Who wants to learn how to get yeses? Raise your hand and say, yes!
Yes.
Okay. But if I can't teach you how to get out of your truck, what is the good of me teaching you how to do a door approach? It is no good. And if I can't teach you here, did anybody have their eyes open when we effing just did this exercise?
Yes.
Is this job hard?
No.
If I can get 12 people to talk to 5 people a day, I will be a $24 million company. Do you want to be a $24 million company? You got a problem. That's good. Dude, I'm talking 5 people. Let's just change it to 1. Mind-blowing, people. Yet somehow we're sitting here beating our heads against the wall saying, when is the leads going to come in? And what did I do at the very beginning? Some of you guys are trying to be that little bird in the nest. You want to be an eagle? You got to soar solo, and you got to be willing to go do the things that other birds that flock all around or whatever. Eagles go and hunt. They go out there and they have to go find a rabbit to survive. They're not eating worms anymore, dude. They're looking for fish. But you got to go hunt. So, let's teach you the hunt. Okay, so, I got a couple prizes here. Door approach. I'm going to teach you a thing called the triangle of trust, okay? I'm not going to teach you what to say. I'm going to teach you how to say it in the first 30 seconds because guess what? I've trained a lot of roofing guys, and no offense, I'm not trying. Guys, I solo all roofs now, just out of default because I was out training and consulting and traveling and stuff. Everybody that's doing roofing is just doing it wrong. I want to say that nicely. Your door approaches are very piss poor because you weren't trained by people that were salesy people. You were like the pitch that somehow everybody adopted in this industry that kind of was passed from this guy to this guy to this guy to this guy and then passed to this guy to this guy was probably from a roofer that did the roofing. Does that make sense? There's no like psychological sales ability that's been trained in this industry very effectively when it comes to a door approach. And so I kind of almost get like darn, like you're giving door-to-door people like a bad rap. Like get good at this so that you can make a lot more money. Like for me, I'm like if I knock a door, I'm gonna freaking get on the roof. Like it's not, can I get on your roof? It's like no, I'm getting up there. And yeah, do I get no's? But a lot less no's than you guys get because I've been trained how to do the psychology of the actual door. So what I can teach you is so many people in roofing, and it's funny, and the reason I say this, I'm just using what I'm learning over the last 2 workshops, okay? So the workshop before this was way different than this one, and the one before that was way different than this one, so you guys are getting the best one in my opinion. So, you were in the last one, right? Yeah. I asked, there's 3 things that build trust. Don't give them the answer. What did most people say right away? What is something you could say to break this wall? So this is what I'm going to teach you. Right when they open door, there's a wall here, and there's a customer here, and you're standing here, right? Immediately they don't trust you. Why do I like a lead? Because immediately they trust me. They're the one requesting it. I can walk up and say, can I come on? What happens is, when I knock door, immediately there's a massive wall. And if I can teach you one thing today, I only got an hour, so I can't teach you everything. I wish I had longer. I have a sales summit coming up in March. If you want to go 3 days deep into this stuff and like really just say, finally, somebody actually knows what they're doing. Teach me what I need to say, and then you go copy paste, and that's going to fix your $18 million problem. No joke. Like 18. Like I've helped companies go from 10 to 20 million. Helped companies go from 100 million to 200 million. Because I said you have a massive problem and I do it in 6 months, like 6 months to a year. Because I can fix that, like quick.
If you could find the talent to knock doors.
They're out there, 100%. I interviewed 2 yesterday in San Antonio for a client of ours, studs. He was like, you 2 are 10 times better than the talent I have now, based on the resumes. Found them, for them, here, go. Start next week. They are out there. Trust me. I host an event called D2DCon. There's 2,000. I have a Facebook group, 10,000 of them. My podcast, It's the Door to Door podcast. It's attracting who? It's a top 100 business podcast. They are out there. But we have the belief system like, nah, they don't exist. We're in a room of 900 of them that are okay. Some of you guys are phenomenal. They are out there. That's a belief. Because yesterday I just proved it to this Fred that's been beating his head against the wall for 2 years with his 2 piss poor sales guys and walks in the door after working with us for a week and has 2 studs. So I have to have a pulley that's going to connect me to jump me over the wall, and it's a lot less. It's hard. It's easy. Pulleys are what create less resistance, right? So if I'm not pushy but I'm pulley, by creating a connection and pulling back, and I'm going to teach some kind of pull back techniques. Here in a second if I have time. What I want to do is a connection between me and them and put me over here on this side of the wall with them. Does that make sense? I'm trying to kind of illustrate this so that when you do a door approach, you're not like off the gate in the first 30 seconds already shooting a bullet in your own foot. Where I watch most of the roofing guys, their door approach guys like this. Hi, I'm with Roofing by Hernandez. Nice to meet you. We're just in the area doing the free inspections. You saw the storm damage that happened. I noticed you had some damage, and that is your pitch. Stop doing that or else you're wasting a lot of doors. How many doors do you do it wrong, and how much money is that costing you? I'm not saying you're doing it wrong. I'm just saying you're going to only find the person waiting for a roofer to come by. The difference between the top performers and the middle guys, the middle guys are the ones they're working enough to find the people wanting a roof. The top guys are the ones that go find the people that don't want a roof, that have no interest in what you're doing, and turn them into interested. That's what a good door knocker does. I don't look for the people who just lay down and be like, oh, about time. That pitch will work with them. I'm trying to teach you the pitch that works with the other 95% that weren't waiting for you to come by. So the first one is connection and common ground. What's another thing I can do to create trust really fast? I've got literally the speed of trust. The faster I can create trust, the faster I can make money.
Compliment.
What? That's kind of it. Wait, you said competence or competence?
Compliments.
Compliments. Yeah. Maybe I need to make this a square. I'm not against that. Maybe it should be the square of trust. Compliments, I like that. Engage on them.
Confidence in yourself and your life.
That's the nonverbals, confidence in you. That's kind of what's going through your head while you're doing it.
Jones effect?
There you go. We call it what?
Jones effect?
You call it the Jones effect? What other names do we have?
My neighbor has it. I want
What, does anybody else have a name that they call that? Jones effect. What is it? What other term for that?
FOMO.
Huh?
Missing out.
FOMO. I call it bandwagoning. A lot of people call it name dropping. Have you ever heard that term, name dropping? There's a difference between Jones effect, which Jones effect is bandwagoning, and name dropping. Most people are trained to name drop, not do the Jones effect. Let me explain the difference. What do you think the difference between name dropping and bandwagoning is?
What if they don't like the neighbor?
That's a what if situation. I only got a couple seconds, so I gotta keep going.
It's not a generalization. It's here, it's them.
There you go.
Hey, the whole area.
The name dropping is saying we're helping the Joneses and the Johnsons. Bandwagoning is creating a connection between you and Jones and why they should. Why it's going to be creating selling. That's me throwing up. That's me trying to go through the wall. That's not a trust builder. So what should I do in those first 30 seconds? They have to like you, they have to trust you, but what's going to create that? Let me give you a hint. Policeman. Huh?
Credentials.
Huh?
Okay.
Credentials, not policemen, it's credentials. What?
Affiliation.
Affiliations, credentials. We call it authority or expertise. Do people trust the authorities? If policeman says, hey, go over here, everybody run over here, are you going to be like, I don't know if I trust that guy in the uniform. Right? What do you do? Holy fetch, let's say, I think we should probably quickly run over there, right? Why?
You trust him.
So I'm dude clipboard and a polo with a badge. Immediately their association is what? Sales, dude. Another freaking roofer or whatever, right? So what do I? What?
Jehovah's.
Yeah, Jehovah's. Hey, Dad. Hey, watch out. I'm the Utah Mormon kid.